The Diary of a Certified Psychopath. Off the Crank. Morning canter. A few furlongs worth of purposefully paced footfalls around Shoreham's peaceful peninsula, sneakily sandwiched between several thousand keystrokes, and more colour-coded spreadsheet cells than St. Alan Sugar's accountants would have found it possible to stare at on an Amstrad PC 1512, assuming they'd forked out an extra £100 for the upgraded CGA display. May such healthy forms of physiological therapy continue keeping me and others on the straight and narrow, without having to suffer any stings or arrows. That is, were it not for the odd exceptionally late-blooming buddleia bush, bowing its branches across my path in attempts to lure bumblebees away from neighbouring swathes of lavender, who promptly buzz up from their ground-bound forage, with senses now torn between the tantalising choice of fragrant bliss or floral beauty, and hover in a hypnotised quandary at the perfect height for any passing pavement pounder to headbutt. Fortunately, my peripheral awareness and sharp reaction times allowed me to evade any painfully impactful encounters, though one could scarcely claim I floated adrift of every potentially venomous jab with the grace of a cabbage white. That's the most convoluted and forced Muhammad Ali reference I've ever heard in my life. Ginger beer jog. Ah yes, that sudden compulsion for one liberal fix of the spicy elixir, distilled from a plant root shaped like Captain Hook's severed hand after being stung by radioactive hornets. Even when of the strictly non-intoxicating but still botanically brewed strain, this heavenly form of hydration, with its unique ability to burn the throat as it quenches one's insatiable thirst, has got to be worth at least 2,000 Apple-certified star strides on a lamplit moon. The broad choice offered by Shoreham Beach's most prominent trader in exotic carbonated beverages did not quite equal their vast variety of vape flavours, many of which continue to be duplicated by premium herbal tea brands, including lemon balm and bergamot, ketchup calypso, and honeydew hash, the latter being restricted to vendors owning a provisional pharmacist's licence, and available at a strict daily limit of one standard refill per customer. More gamified graft. Couldn't possibly begin describing this involuntary venture back across reality's radical virtual divide to savour cybercycling's sole true rendition of active fantasy role-playing, since from a purely factual perspective, my pounding pulse took more than half the week's official route of choice to catch up with over 100 G-synced frames per second. Surprised, my ill-conditioned avatar remains apt to survive the infernal temperatures of Watopia's volcanic domain, where blazing rivers still flow from the peak of its fiery mountain, and lakes of molten marmalade simmer deep within the cavernous complex below. The same could not be said for his puffed-out puppeteer, who required an extra swipe or two of touch-sensitive headwind to stabilise his data dungeon's subtropical microclimate and ensure that heartfelt efforts aligned with those of Professor Polar's unimpeachable perceptions. This was especially important during a partial mash-up Mount Epic's steeper reverse comm, after which a soft-pedalled cruise across its picturesque clifftop bypass felt like a veritable Caribbean breeze. Swapped slipstreams with a swarm of fireflies that had somehow flown astray of their native habitat amidst the Mayan jungle's dilapidated temples, before swinging left across the forward climb's sister bridge for a scenic and recuperative descent back to the mainland, where I rounded off one lap of this visually captivating course with a steady spin through the ocean tunnel. During an extended and freely styled warm-down, which included more U-turns than Donald Trump's world trade policy, I became increasingly distracted by the bold, tour-centric slogans scrawled all over the island's main start-finish straight, and wondered, as decorative though they may be whilst pro cycling's most prestigious annual event is in progress, just how much Watopia's downtown district council might charge to retexture graffiti-ridden tarmac if neither an animated monsoon or super sample paint stripper can wash it away. It's certainly not something I want to be paying hidden taxes for within any pending monthly subscription fees, especially if Zwift's contracted road maintenance engineers charge by the pixel for their artistic services.